All right, I believe, okay, good. We are now live. Excuse me while I have this other computer here because stats are what you're here for. So let's jump right into it. Let me dim this down a little bit. We're going to jump right into the housing market update that we should have had last week, but here I am today, so let's get on. Last time, if you caught the previous live stream, we were talking about housing in terms of February numbers while we did the stream in March. Let me pull up my report here. Yeah. So today we're going to be looking at April 2023 numbers. And today being May 17th, 2023, we're going to be talking about April. So sellers, if I could say anything, it would be sellers, where are you? And I say that knowing that inflation is something that we're all dealing with, and I know that those inflationary numbers went up. In fact, so how is it that housing? How are we seeing so much competition still in housing, right? And that's just it. So if we look at some, so I'm going to be looking down here because I have my secondary computer, and I've got. Hold on, what is this notification? Excuse me, still getting used to this whole live stream situation. I'm going to be looking at stats here, so if I'm not looking right at you, it's because I'm giving you the right numbers. Our numbers for April 2023 stats. Okay, so going off of the Toronto Regional Real Estate Board, we have Jason Mercer, who is at one of our chief market analyst, has come out to say that the average selling price in the GTA was 1.15 million in April 2023, and yes, that is considerably low. That is 7.8% lower than April 2022. But we know this. If you caught the previous live, then you know this. However, the average selling price also increased when compared to March. Does that surprise you? It might surprise you because you're probably wondering who's shopping right now. And I'll tell you that buyer confidence is very much back, and active buyers are back in the market. They've for the most part, boots on the ground in Milton and in Guelph. I'm seeing that the ones that were pre-qualified previously before all of the rate increases are still now pre-qualified at different rates, and they're ready to go. The shock of those higher interest rates are starting to wear off with some of our buyers, which means buyer confidence is returning, which means we need inventory. So our inventory does not match the demand that we are experiencing in the market. And supply demand, I mean, it's basics. When there isn't enough of a supply and there is an increase in demand, that's when we start seeing these multiple offer situations return. Yes, so we are seeing that. Yes, we are seeing offer dates being a reality. Now, it depends whether you're looking for more a first-time home buyer bracket, that kind of budget. Are you looking at a luxury listing budget? What is a luxury listing budget anymore? Because, man, I remember a time when $1 million home was a luxury listing. Now, does it have to be more 1.5, 2 million? So let's go over some numbers because I don't think any of this is going to shock you. However, it's an important part of making an informed decision. So the Greater Toronto Area housing market continued to tighten in April 2023. We know this because on a year-over-year basis, sales actually edged lower when compared to 2022, but that's also because new listings. We just did not have enough new listings when compared to April 2022. In fact, let me pull up some actual numbers for you. When compared to April 2022, the number of active listings in Guelph, 245 active listings in April 2022. April 2023 saw 182, right? So these numbers do not shock us, but it also tells a story as to why we're seeing an increased amount of multiple offers and buyer demand. So the number of sold listings in 2023, so for the last month, was 180 in Guelph versus 206 in April 2022. So switching gears now, because the biggest stat I think that we're looking for, a lot of times when people are perusing and starting to get to know areas, whether you're relocating for work, whether you just want out of a big city, whether you're priced out of a city and you need to sort of go where you qualify, the average sales price, right? This is an important stat. Now remember, I say this every time because it needs to be repeated. The average sale price does not necessarily mean the price that you are going to get your property for. It is an average. Okay. So if you're looking for a single family detached property, that's included in this average. But what else is included? Our towns, our semis, our condos. It's all in this big average. So the average sale price for the city of Guelph for the month of April 2023 was 825,000 and a little bit, right? So let's say 826,000. And if you remember from the last live, the average sale price for 2023 in March, was 757,276. So that's an increase of approximately 8% in that 1 month, right? For the average selling price. It's showing demand. We're going to track it because I think May is going to show a similar story to what April has shown, just given what I'm seeing in the market today with offer dates, with competition. Let's see what May tells us. I have a feeling it's going to resemble a lot of what April has so far. All right, just making sure everything is good to go. Okay, so continuing on, let's switch. Okay, so another important stat that we want to have top of mind are our days of market, days on market, right? So how many days does it take to sell a property? So if you remember in February, our average in March, I keep saying Feb, in March, our average days on market were at 28. Let me make sure I'm looking at the right stat. Yes, for Guelph, it was at 28. I will soon figure out a way to put this screen that I have here and it will project right over there so you can follow alongside me. Can you let me know if that's something you need or if you're okay just listening to me ramble on? Thank you. So our average days on market was 28 compared to what was it in April? April, we saw 20 days. Okay, so the days on market are reducing. So what does that mean? It is now quicker. Homes are selling quicker. What does that mean? Competition. Okay, that means buyer activity. That means we are actively seeking homes. We don't have enough homes, right? Those reserve buyers that were on the benches, they're coming out to play. So sellers, where are you? If you've been considering selling, and listen, it's tough, inflationary times, I get it. But if you're considering selling because the timing works for you, then you need to reach out to your real estate professional and have an honest conversation of what your home can command in today's market and how to best market your property to sell, right? Like make sure you're making the most of your asset. So moving on, let's jump gears. Let's move to Milton because the rest of my stats I don't really think you need the sale to list price ratio. I keep putting it in here because we always have it as a stat, but really it's a marketing tool, right? The list price. Are we seeing properties holding offers again? Absolutely. It's very much a reality. In fact, over Mother's Day weekend, all of the properties I showed were holding offers, and I showed all of the properties that I showed were in Guelph and Cambridge. Right? And they were all holding offers. And some of them were just holding offers, even though they were priced at market value, they were just holding off to make sure everybody had a fair chance at seeing the property. But for the most part, yes, they were listed below market value in the hopes of inciting more competition and getting multiple offers. Okay, let's move on. We're going to move on to Milton. So for the month of March in Milton, we saw a whopping 78 new listings, active listings for the month of March. And for the month of April, we saw 76. That's slim pickings for the Milton market, okay, compared to 2022, where the month of April saw 137 active listings. So the number of sold listings for Milton, they were 78 for April 2023. And when you compare that to April 2022, it was at 98. So if you're looking at, these numbers in the Milton market, I'll tell you why. Okay, so I'll tell you why these numbers are telling a different story than Guelph. A lot of it has to do with affordability. The average sales price in Milton is over $1 million. It's well over $1 million. So for affordability reasons, people are having to move a little bit further from the Greater Toronto area and those surrounding and Halton region, is people are being priced out of that market. The average sales price in Milton for April 2023 sat at $1,156,000 versus the average sale price in 2022 was $1,189,000. Now, yes, it is a higher sales price in April 2022, but what I really meant to say was the average sales price for March 2023 was $1,121,000. So there is an increase even in the Milton market of that average sales price by about 3%, right? But there is 8% jump in Milton versus 3% jump in Milton, 8% jump in Guelph versus 3% jump in Milton. A lot of this is coming down to affordability and how far you can stretch your dollar. How much are you purchasing in Guelph versus how much are you purchasing in Milton? I am for both communities, okay? This isn't one versus the other. I think where you choose to reside has to work for your lifestyle, your commute, your family, your needs. Everything comes into play here. But if you're looking for appreciation along that 401 corridor, you're going to find that in Guelph. In fact, I was showing homes to first-time home buyers recently, and they said, man, I kept thinking the further west I went, because they're relocating from Toronto, it will get more affordable, but Guelph is actually expensive, and it can be, especially if you choose to call South Guelph your home, right? It mirrors certain pockets of the Greater Toronto area. So average days on market for Milton, April 2023 was at 21 days versus March 2023 at 25 days. So we're closing the gap again with the average days on market. That is important because that helps you make informed decisions when it comes to buying and selling real estate, right? One of your biggest assets. So I hope you found some value in these numbers. And please let me know if you need these numbers projected somewhere. I am happy to share it with you. So if you want to send me an email, I'll send you my Excel spreadsheet as well. It's an easy one. And I wanted to quote this RBC News article. Did you just happen to read it? It just came out today. It says, sellers are back in the driver's seat in Toronto's housing market. RBC says, a housing correction that RBC once called historic appears to have run its course, and sellers are now back in the driver's seat in most major markets, a new report from the bank suggests. So I want you to read that article. It may sound a little bit like clickbait, but quite honestly, from what we're seeing in the market, in the field today, it's basic supply and demand, and we simply do not have enough supply to meet the demand, and that's what causes a lot of this competition and the prices. So I'm very curious to know what you think, and I'll be sure to bring the May numbers because I think that's going to resemble a lot of what we saw in April, and I will keep us up to date on the housing market numbers. Excuse me one sec. It says prices were up 5.4% month over month in Hamilton and 3.9% in Kitchener-Waterloo, right? We went over these numbers for Guelph and Milton. I hope you found some value here. I look forward to chatting with you about all things homes and specifically stats in my next live stream. And in the meantime, I hope to bring you some locational videos. So if you're curious about certain Guelph neighborhoods or Milton neighborhoods, let me know which ones specifically so I can send you those relevant data points. All right, take care. Talk to you soon.